Hey everyone, it's John here from Hot Take Hockey, back with another video. MIKKO rant and trade. We got to talk about what's next. What are the next moves the Avalanche are going to make? If you haven't watched, I already made a little bit of a rant. I feel like I could have been more aggressive, but I'm on that lens right now and playing devil's advocate because I think Colorado has another move up their sleeve. Like, they have to, right? To get a couple draft picks, to get the cap space. I still think it's a mistake not bringing back MIKKO Rantanen, one of the best players in the National Hockey League, one of the best wingers in the leagues. But we'll see Joe Sakic and management on the Avs side, their vision and just what's to happen. But that's what I'm going to do here. What's next? What's going to happen? On Carolina's side, I mean, we'll see their perspective. Right now, Tulski's the one that's talking. We haven't really heard from Colorado and Joe Sakic and that side too much. But asking Tulski, shout out to Ryan, if targeting a center would be an area of focus heading to the trade deadline, especially with losing Drury. Listen, until we have the best 20 players all on our team, we'll always be looking to get better. Hey, you never know. Maybe Carolina's not done on the JT Miller and Pettersson front. I mean, I think it's highly unlikely, but you still got guys like Svechnikov who have higher cap hits. You have guys like Orlov who have higher cap hits. And Carolina still has a lot of prospects, and if they want to use even more draft capital, like, they could go after a JT Miller still. Like, they have the contracts to flip the other way. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm just saying they have a lot of young pieces and prospects. I don't think Carolina's done being aggressive, but acquiring MIKKO Rantanen is already the deal of the year and probably the deal of the decade. So, and if they can re-sign him and keep him long-term with Aho, I mean, that Finnish duo is going to be ridiculous. To look at some of the deals I've been talking about, and I actually got ripped, but I honestly, you know what's so funny, and hand up, I kind of wanted to get the attention of Canucks fans here and see what they're actually thinking, because I think Canucks fans think they're going to get a lot more. Like, I think they're going to get a lot less than they're expecting for JT Miller and Brock Besser. So I'm trying to think out loud here, but Casey Middlestat I'm still high on in terms of long-term ceiling, and I'm seeing a lot. I mean, I'll give you this. Puckpedia right now has Casey Middlestat as one of the top 5 players most traded by fans right now. So that happened quickly today when I was kind of over the last week thinking, okay, who could Colorado flip in any deal? And I was thinking Middlestat. Ross Colton still, you know what? On a full 82-game season, he's over 30-goal pace right now. Like, a lot of people forget how good Ross Colton was in those runs with Tampa. And 3 second-round picks, I don't think it's horrible, but maybe you shave off Ross Colton and Besser from this deal. And Casey Middlestat and a few second-round picks for JT Miller, I think is fair. If you don't think that's fair, I think you're lost in the sauce. I don't think you realize how either good Middlestat can be in the future, and 3 second-round picks, like, the value there, especially from one in 2028, like, you're building up a lot of draft capital there, and you really just need to get JT Miller out of that dressing room. But then there's other tweets out there, and I'll show in a second, but, like, a lot of people are talking about the fact that they might just blow this thing up at some point. If the Canucks continue to struggle like this, and I know I've talked about this in the past, and they had a great year last year, like second round against the Oilers, they could have taken them. This could change really quickly. It really could. And from Cam here, so I got to give shouts to Cam Robinson. He works with Elite Prospects. His tweet: don't be surprised to hear Elias Pettersson trade talk ramp back up. Vancouver is unhappy with the offers for Miller, and it'll be a lot easier to recoup value in a Pettersson deal. You have to remember that. Shout out to Cam. That is the logic, whether you agree with it or not. Like, I'm, like a lot of people, just sending that message out. They're not getting good offers for JT Miller. They clearly are not, because that deal would have happened by now. I have seen this guy's demeanor. I have looked at it from so many different angles. There is no way Vancouver's holding on to this dressing room the way it is unless they're getting brutal offers. And so that was from the 24th, 12:35 p.m. And then obviously Rantanen gets traded later in the day. And then Cam comes out again and goes, when I posted this yesterday, I was flat out told that Pettersson could be moved ASAP. Every indication is that there was a deal in place for him to go to Carolina, but the Hurricanes decided on Rantanen instead. That is crazy, if true. And shout out to Cam, because I have no reason to like doubt his sources on this and his take, but adding to his thread he says, if Pettersson is moved, I expect JT would be moved at some point as well. So both guys moved if it's Petey. If they can get a better deal for Miller, you never know. But maybe it's a scenario where they trade Petey now, try to resolve basically what's a locker room issue. And then obviously if Miller still wants out, then you trade him in the offseason potentially. But I mean, the whole conversation is, would the core come crashing down? I mean, I'll say this. I think the only guy that's untouchable is Quinn Hughes. I could see a Besser trade. I could see a Demko trade. I wouldn't really be shocked by a Besser trade at all. I mean, people forget he's a pending UFA. Like, we're past the midseason point, right? As much as we want to make Rantanen a conversation, a Mitch Marner a conversation, Brock Besser's a legit top 6 on his best day, a top line winger. And he's not signed to a contract extension yet in one of the bigger Canadian markets. What does that tell you? So, again, was my trade offer here great? No. But you have to understand they're going to try to resolve it soon. And I think Middlestat and Colton can both put up 50 points plus easy on a year. And 3 second-round picks. Maybe Besser's out of this and maybe Colton's out of this to make more sense. For the Canucks situation, and I'll probably title it that way, I still think they go to New Jersey or the Rangers. And people have this as fair. Like, New Jersey saying no, 41%. 37.8% of the 90 votes so far on that poll say deal. So make sure you go follow on X, Hot Take Hockey. But, yeah, D'Angelo also news. But let's look at some of the trades that fans have here. So what are the next moves Colorado could make? I know I'm talking about Vancouver too, but it ties in. So this one's the Colorado-Vancouver one from a fan. Let's see. So this one's got JT Miller for Middlestat, Cal Ritchie, a second and fourth. Basically, the assets that Colorado got in the Carolina trade. You know what? I actually had Cal Ritchie in my proposal. And I just don't think Colorado wants to give him up for JT Miller. I think if it's Pettersson, I could see Middlestat, Cal Ritchie, a first and second plus in that deal. For JT Miller, I'm not too sure. But I could be wrong. Also, the salary cap ain't too far off, $2 million difference, and obviously Colorado saved them some cap there. Honestly, I don't think this is too far-fetched, but I don't know if Colorado's trading Cal Ritchie. All right, let's look at the next one. No Vancouver involved in this one. So Trent Frederick for Ivan, second and fourth. Not bad. Marcus Pettersson to Colorado for Cal Ritchie to Pittsburgh. Ooh, if they could get an extension from Marcus Pettersson, that's interesting. But I feel like Colorado... Yeah, I mean, Sam Girard can always shift, and that's a pretty solid left side on Colorado. I don't think that's horrible, but it would have to be an extension with Marcus Pettersson. Again, does Colorado want to trade Cal Ritchie? He's not a throw-in. Cal Ritchie, I think, is going to be a legit top 6 forward for Colorado in the long term. All right, let's look at a few more, and then we'll wrap the video. Besser and Miller. So this is basically the deal that I have with Besser retained. The only difference is it's a first and second and fourth versus 3 seconds. And Cal Ritchie is in the deal with Ivan instead of Ross Colton. So maybe this is a little more fair for Vancouver because they got Cal Ritchie. They definitely save on a lot of cap. I think Ross Colton would have been a great second or third line guy for Vancouver, but I get it. You get the better long-term value with Cal Ritchie. So I could see something like that-ish. Maybe getting Brian Dumoulin as a veteran retained. I could see something like that as well. That's actually not too bad. For a third pair for Colorado, definitely an upgrade for that third pair. They don't have to give up much draft capital. And then Drew O'Connor for Pittsburgh might make some sense. One more, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's do this one. Actually, we'll do both quick. So this one's Bjorkstrand for Middlestat. Oh my, that's interesting. I don't know if Seattle's doing that, but that's actually really interesting. And then I feel like Colorado would have to do something like this, get an upgrade on center. And then David Savard, ooh, interesting. But I think Habs fans want a first-round pick if that's the duo going the other way. All right, do one more quick. This one's got 7 comments, so maybe it's debatable. JT Miller for, I think it's Goliath, but defenseman, young prospect for the Avs. I don't know if that's enough for Vancouver again. I mean, my trade got ripped apart, and it was 3 second-round picks and Ross Colton in there. I know Besser was going the other way, but Yanni Gourde to Colorado could make a lot of sense. That's a lot better center depth. JT Miller and Yanni Gourde. But maybe that's what Colorado does. Maybe they trade Middlestat for a winger, like a Besser or another winger out there like a Bjorkstrand, and then they go acquire maybe like a middle 6 guy like a Yanni Gourde. But I still think Colorado needs that really good 2C to go for a long run behind McKinnon. Maybe they reunite with Kadri. But JT Miller, Pettersson got to be the targets there. I think a lot of people are thinking JT Miller. I don't think Canucks want to trade Pettersson in division or in conference for the case of Colorado. So, again, easier said than done, but we'll see what happens. Thank you so much, guys. Again, make sure you follow me on YouTube here, X, all the great platforms of Hot Take Hockey. Hit that subscribe button, like, notification bell. Comment your thoughts on the trades and the rumors out there, what Colorado could do next. I think it's going after a second-line center, but let me know what you think. And hey, Colorado opening up some cap